Alex, thank you for joining us, man.
Thank you for having me.
We met a couple weeks ago. We
Yeah.
just came into your community. We had finished up with another interview, and you're probably one of the most knowledgeable people I've talked about in the new construction industry. So I was like, we got to get this guy on here.
Thank you.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Oh, absolutely. So, how long have you been in new construction?
I've been in new construction for 4 years,
Okay.
but I've been in the industry all my life. So my father was a mortgage and realtor broker
Wow.
for 30 years. Um, my oldest memory is I'm 6 years old brewing up the coffee for his clients
Yeah.
in one office as he's getting them pre-qualified, and in the next office my brother's showing him the listings to go head out to go show, right? um, but I grew up in that, and so my father trained me up, trained all the siblings up. I have a brother who's 25 years as a realtor in the business, sister who's 25 years as a mortgage loan officer in the business, and so it kind of runs in the family. And so exposure and into it all my life, but actively as a career, 4 years. Prior to that, I was 2 years in real estate, and prior to that, I was a year in loan. So actually, I've been on all sides of this industry for the last 10 years.
Yeah. So that means that when someone's coming to structure a deal, I mean, they probably couldn't talk to a better person.
Right, right,
Because
right, right.
you got it from the finance side,
Yeah.
you got it from the real estate
Yeah.
side.
And I'll be quite frank, anytime I don't know an answer or don't have the answer, I have no problem. I have all the confidence to say, you know what, I don't have that answer.
Yeah.
But let me find out.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So being that you've been in the real estate industry literally your whole life, what's some of the biggest changes you've seen in the industry?
Wow, I think the biggest changes has been affordability. Things have gotten just tremendously expensive. The house I bought in 2019, I purchased it for 180. Today, nothing is under 280. So, and that was not that long ago. We're talking about a 6 year old trend change, a 6 year old major difference. Me as the buyer, as the person today, Alex of 2025, may find it difficult to be able to afford the home in where I live today. But 6 years ago, it was very obtainable. I think that's one of the opportunities that I see at hand in today's change in market.
Absolutely. I talk about that all the time. You know, so many people like to bash on like the younger generations for everything. And I'm so sympathetic towards those kids. You know, they're
Yeah.
coming out of college with all this debt. I mean, student loans are at an all-time high. There's no secret to that.
Very.
And to where their student loan debts is basically equivalent to like a car payment
Right.
or a mortgage
Or
in
more.
itself. You know, and then you factor that in with the wages really haven't kept up, and then also the fact that what was I going to say? The wages that, but yeah, just the affordability in the houses has gotten so crazy, and then you factor that with interest rates as well. I mean,
Right.
these kids are really struggling, and not to get political, but that's one reason why I like so much that this administration seems to be doing so much to actually stimulate the real estate market. And I know they talked about extending out to like 50-year mortgages to
Sure.
help with the payment price, but that got kicked down, and now they're talking about portable mortgages. So that's really nice for people who are suffering from the lock-in effect.
Right.
Yeah. So what are some of the biggest things that you see people in this industry struggle with?
I think the biggest thing, industry as in buyers or industry as in
Salespeople. Yeah,
salespeople?
real estate agents, new home builders.
I
Yeah.
think that it's the mentality that we've been given of previous, let's say generation. I'm going to use the word generation, but old methods don't always work, right? And I think that if I look at my day, I work 5 days a week. I have 2 days off, right? Even though I may take the call, right? I have 5 days that I work. I always tell my boss this: Alex, how many think you're going to get this month? I'm going to tell you what I want and what I'm going to try for, what I'm going to go for, what I'm going to shoot for is one a shift. Why would I ever want to come to work and not sell a home that day? If I didn't, then maybe I'm not the right person. I want to sell a home every shift I have. And if I could sell two, I wouldn't want to. Obviously, it's a high margin, a high goal, but that's the desire. If the desire is there, it makes it far more, I think, passionate when you have these conversations with buyers, with realtors, with teams, etc. Right? Being that being said, I think the biggest thing is that we were told for so long to follow up, follow up, follow up. And when that follow up bucket gets to finally the answer no, that salesperson, manager, whoever it is depleted. We've identified the psychological battle of no means you lost. You're a loser, or you didn't do a good job. This is not for you. But that's not the case. Though in our industry, since we're all commission only, that's how it feels. We need to look at getting decisions, not getting sales. If I don't get the sale, I didn't do a good job. I should have done something better. No, we could always be improving our craft, our verbiage, our attitude, our temperature gauge, whatever it is that needs to be tailored. But I think that if you look at it as, I'm here to be indifferent. I'm here to get you the most information that's the most valuable to you in the time that you're going to give me. And based on what you said, I think that this is the best answer for you. All I'm doing is providing you with the information. I'm going to ask specific questions to get these specific answers to deliver exactly what you asked for. With that being said, I'm here to get you to make a decision. Yes or no. I want to stay out of the maybe. I got to think about it. I got to pray about it. I got to have dinner. I got to ask this person. I want to get to the yes and no as soon as possible. 2 reasons why. The value in getting, it's the mentality of stop being fearful of the no. Look for the no, and when you look for the no, you're going to find more yeses. Because if you're if you're more comfortable with getting no, you're going to get through it a lot easier, on to the next thing. Great. All right, cool. And then you'll get to the place where you get those several yeses. And then obviously from there, you've now gained the sale, etc. So I think that's the part, is that we're so emotionally attached to the yes that it hurts when we get a no. But if you look at the no from the perspective of, you know what, you just saved my time.
That's
I've met you. We've had this conversation for 30 minutes. We've been touring for 30 minutes. And now I see it and I'm like, oh, well, okay. Like, I asked you if we're ready to contract. You said no. You've decided on another product. Great. You've now freed me. And now my time can go into efforts to the next person. My job is not to follow up to somehow convince you. I'll ask you a question. I know you've been asking me questions. I'm going to ask you a question. Do you feel if I gave you a buyer, you would be easier for you to close them on the phone or in person?
Oh, in person.
So then why do we follow up?
Yeah.
Like, if they didn't say yes to you in person when you met them and got their information, what makes you think you're going to somehow, we think highly of ourselves sometimes, that we think I'm going to be able to somehow close this buyer on the phone and get him back here and sign. And that's not going to happen. I believe more in productivity than activity. Activity is just, I'm staying active. I'm calling, I'm doing my follow-ups. That's great. Data provides that there's going to be very little turnaround. But if I'm productive, if I'm doing interviews, hosting events, hosting headshots, doing this, realtor events, whatever it is I got to do, texting, reaching out directly, being more personable again, where they remember your name, your title, your phone number, they'll call you.
I love that, man. Because I know one of the biggest challenges we have is when new agents come on the team, and we ask them, what's your game plan for how you're going to get business? Because our job is to talk to people and get them to sign stuff. Yeah. But and one of the ways that we do that is cold calling. I think a lot of people, when they romanticize about getting into the real estate industry, they just think like, oh, HGTV. This is what I'm going to think about cold calling, is they get worried about the word no.
Right.
And what I tell them is the real estate sales cycle, the average person moves every 7 to 10 years. And, so if you're calling 300 people a day, or let's just make it easy, 100 people a day.
Right.
And the odds of any of them needing your services at that time are pretty low.
Right.
So a lot of times when you have a no during your prospecting, your cold calling, anything like that, it's not a no to you. It's just they don't need your services right now.
Sure.
And if they don't have a need for your services potentially in the immediate future, I love what you said about let's get to the no. And let's not focus all of our time and energy calling them, because if you call them every week and they don't plan on moving for like 6 months, or let's just say even a year out, why are you going to call them every week?
Right.
I would say put them on a drip campaign for the next like 2 or 3 months. And then as they get closer to that timeline, then check in with them a little bit more. Because what happens with a lot of agents is next thing you know, they have like 5 or 6 hours of follow up. Right. For all these people that don't really need their services or have no intention in doing that.
Yeah.
So the productivity aspect to me is really huge.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, what are some of the common objections you're seeing with buyers in the new construction industry right now?
I think the common objections is going to be a comparison. Um, for example, there's me mentioning about knowing what's in the area, who's building and who's your competitor. An objection I may have is, oh, you don't have four-sided brick, but this other builder has four-sided brick at a similar price point, at a same price point. Sure, no problem, right? That's no problem. Um, what is it about that builder that drew you there to begin with, right? Let's talk about that builder, not by name,
Sure.
but let's just look at what they sell. Do they sell homes? No, they sell price. What do I mean by that? Their job is to build a home at the most affordable potential way possible, include those features, right? And sell it at the most affordable price possible. So that way that number is reported to their corporate national stock market investors. So they see that they're winning and they're always at the top. That's their job. In doing so, they gain benefits out of doing that. They get more funding, and that's where the money just continually comes in. Versus us, our goal is to never hurt your value. What do I mean by that? If a home sells 3 months ago at $299, I can't sell it for $250 3 months later.
Right.
Just to show corporate that I sold. Again, there's nothing wrong with how people do their business, but I sell homes. I don't sell price. I sell value.
Absolutely.
We can see that value. In our touring, when we met, features that I pointed out, there is tile in your shower. There is 2 sinks in your primary bathroom, as it should be, right? There is a mahogany wood front door at the entrance of your home, right? These things should be a bit, I would call them, should be standard in every home, but they're not. But we want to talk about the brick exterior. No problem. I have a stone feature elevation in our 50-foot product that may satisfy that. But again, the price is different because there's more benefits in there, right? So I say all that to say, I think the main objection is comparison, but not having that information. So anytime it comes up, I feel super comfortable with, hey, where'd you come from? You've been seeing, am I your last stop or your first stop? Oh, if they say you're our first stop, I'm like, great, you started with the best. I'm going to tell you why. And we go through what's important to you. I'm not going to just regurgitate information to you. I want to know what's important to you, because that's going to be the vital information for your best decision. If they tell me, oh, I've been through your third on my list. Who did you see already, and what was your feedback? They mentioned an XY builder. I'm like, great. While we're touring, by the way, you will not put carpet in your living room.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
And I make it funny and humorous. I'm not being mean. I make it humorous to again, disarm.
Yeah.
This experience, this world is very unpredictable. Buying a house is very unpredictable. Walking in through different homes and every other builder is unpredictable. If I can make this the most predictable experience with the most predictable home, with the most predictable floor plan, with the most predictable monthly payment, it makes it much more confident of a decision to make when they make that decision.
Oh, absolutely, man. I hear that all the time where people, when you're going through the process, you're trying to coordinate so much. You're trying to be an orchestrator. You're trying to coordinate the moving of your current home, or, trying to break the lease, or trying to just coordinate moving all your furniture, trying to coordinate the closing. And there's so many things that people don't think about during the process.
Yeah.
So even like you'd say, like little things like we're not putting living room or carpet in your living room.
Yeah.
And I love that, because there's so many things, even in my personal life, where I go back and I start thinking about it. I'm like, oh, we should have done this.
Right.
So having that predictability and that attention to detail is important.
Yeah.
And that's really what's going to separate you in the industry, and has separated you in the industry.
Right.
It's just your knowledge and your attention to detail in that manner.
And this is outside of typical, I would say typical sales 101, right? You want to connect and build a relationship. So like, I'm telling you things that I think are stand out, but obviously this is also to tell us, hey, so what are you interested in? What are you guys going to use this space for? You find out guys interested in boiling crawfish. Hey, did you know that our 50-foot product comes with a gas stove outside? You can just hook it up and fire up your boiler, and you can now start crawfish.
It's a big deal to these good old boys here in Texas.
Well, you see what I'm saying? Like, there's things like that. You hear someone that says they like to grill. I've got a connection gas out there. You hear someone saying, oh, I just love to be able to just sit outside, drink my coffee and tea, and just, I miss California or whatever. I'm like, well, I have a Lakeview lot. It's not California, but I have something that may feel like, again, like, oh, I hear football. Oh, you need a good space. I said, my 2 stories have an amazing game room upstairs that will get you a lot of space. You can set up your speakers, you can set up your surround sound, whatever you need, you can set it up. So it's just things like that that just make the difference.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Absolutely. When you think about real estate agents, what are some of the ways that you wish they would enter the home when they come to tour these homes? I've just heard so many nightmare stories from builders where they talk about agents come in and they just walk right past you. They don't try to learn about the product. They're just here to get videos. What's something that you wish you could tell real estate agents?
I, as a former agent, that I have my license inactive but on file, and as a son of a broker, I live and breathe it. Right, I get it. I've been in the shoes before. Build your allies. Like, we are your allies. Like, I'm pro realtor. The company is pro realtor. Like, we pay your commission. There are offerings on certain homes at times that have bonuses and etc. Like, all those features, it's all there. We're here to be allies. But sometimes I see that there may be this sensation of that we're not allies. And it's like, if I say something, please understand that there's a reason, rhyme, and mandate from corporate as to why I have to set expectations and say things and require things of you to be able to make this as smooth as possible. And ultimately, it's not only for it to be as smooth as possible for Century, Alex, and let's say that realtor, ultimately for that buyer.
Absolutely.
Like, ultimately and primarily for that buyer. You may not, there's so many background work. And it's like, I always tell realtors all the time, I'm like, I wish I was in your shoes. Like, you're your own boss.
Right.
I've got 15 bosses.
Right.
And they just go, one is more the other, the other. And so by the time that when I'm being told they ask this or set the expectation for this, there's a reason for it. And it majority of the time, it's, I wouldn't say 99% of the time, it's something that is just a few clicks on an email and we're done.
Right.
It's not a big ask. But I think it's like, establish that rapport and that know that we're allies.
Right. No, that's such a good point because I've closed so many deals where the agent will call me after and they'll say, thank you. And I'm like, for what? Like, yeah, we closed the deal, but that's great. But they were like, no, you made this so much easier. And I don't know if realtors get jaded over time or if they're just too emotionally attached to the deals, but it doesn't have to be so aggressive.
Yeah.
Even when negotiations get tough, at the end of the day, it's going to work or it's not.
Yeah.
Is this the house or is there another house? And I don't understand why agents have to get so aggressive.
Sure.
I can understand being aggressive in your business practice, but they get like angry.
Yeah.
And they start screaming. I'm like, it doesn't have to be that way.
Yeah.
We can make this conducive.
And, whether if you guys want to keep this or not, I'll tell you just a short story that happened to me this morning. Buyer walked in unrepresented. Said, I walked one of your homes that was under construction, so we just walked it because I didn't need to like get a key access. Oh man, I wish you would have told me. I'd love to go show you again. No, we like it. We want it. Great. Tell me a little bit more about your project. What's your incentives? I'm like, and here's what I said. I said the expectation. I'm like, I'm working the 4.87 right now. I said, I do have an arm, but it is 5 years. Oh, we don't really want that. I'm like, okay. I said, there is another 3.8, but it is a fixed, but there may not be enough budget in there because it's cost more expensive for 30 years for that fixed rate for closing costs. We'd have to make an offer to see if we can make it work. Be prepared for either a counter or a decline. So look, show me the numbers. I'm going to show you both the what if scenario and the scenario that I actually have. Look at, are these doable? Yes, they're both doable. I obviously like this one as priority, but this as a backup is fine. Great. We go through it. There's a lease buyout. So I personally can't refer a personal realtor, but there is a real estate group that Century partners with. I won't name the name, but basically they got involved. They met the buyer, helped them with their lease buyout. They qualified. They didn't qualify. They couldn't do the deal that they wanted. Out of emotion, they're now frustrated. And it's like they want their cake and eat it too. and it just can't happen the way they want it. It can be, we got to adjust some things. And this is why I said, remember, this is why I sent you both, right? Now they've procured their own realtor, and now this realtor's gotten involved and is having that nasty approach.
Yeah.
Instead of realizing I'm your ally.
Right.
And so because of the posture and the lack of allyship, they presented a new offer in that aggressive manner, and it backfired.
Right.
And now it backfired directly on that agent. And now the company's like, we have record that this buyer said they had no representation. They elected to meet with our representation, and now you can't be involved.
Right.
So now we're going to focus back on favoring the buyer. You're out.
Right.
Had he had a more positive approach and allyship, that might have not happened.
No, absolutely. I mean, there's so many agents that I've worked with in the past where if I see their name, if I see their name come across my desk now on the other side of the deal, I mean, obviously we're gonna do it, but
Right.
I'm just like, oh boy, here
Yeah.
we go. You
Yep.
know?
Yep.
I'm so glad you told that story because every interview I've done so far, I've been like begging somebody to give me a story, and I don't know if they don't want to or
And-
whatnot, but just it provides insight
And
it
I-
provides
and-
more valuable.
And again, I always tell people this is normal in our world. I'm sure you've heard this before, where there was a price and an incentive offer, but the buyer's making an offer, producing an idea that this is what they want, and I set the expectation of like, we're gonna ask. I'm always gonna ask. Can't be done. We have to either raise the price or adjust the closing costs or adjust this or adjust that. They're not happy with it. I get it. It's not what you asked for. But it's not a no. You can never say they said no. No, we said yes. It's just how the yes is being presented. I said, but you know what I mean? And I encourage, please shop it around. They shopped it around. They applied with an outside lender. The lender couldn't even touch the surface of how close we were getting with those numbers. And they realized, you guys have the best. I said, I promised you that I would get you the best out there. It wasn't what you wanted, but I got you the best. And I think even in my real estate days, I remember having to tell people, oh, I want this house in this area of town with these things and this at this price point. And I had to tell many buyers. And remember, when you're a realtor, you have the ability to fire that buyer. It's like, I no longer want to represent you. I have to tell them, hey, this house that you think exists does not exist.
Oh, my favorite comeback when somebody's like, I want a pool and I want, a 3-car garage and I want this and that and half an acre and
Under 300.
under 300 or, for $1,500 a month. I'm like, me too.
Yeah.
I'm like, if you find that deal, let me know.
Yeah.
And if I find it, guess who's getting it? Not
Yeah.
you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And we have to navigate that with realtors and buyers today. right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. Realtors think they can come in here and negotiate $100,000 off the list price. And it's like, come on, man.
So we're not in that era anymore.
Right. Right.
And furthermore, in our process, I now have gone back to the previous way of selling homes is I do a price out. What I mean by that is I'll sit down with the realtor, your team, the buyer, and I'll price out everything that went into that home. So they see on paper and a dollar amount what they saw physically in the touring of the home. It makes it so much more personal. And they're like, wow, like they really are giving this into it. And I said, this has no effect on price, but I'm showing you what it went into. This is what the difference is between base, options, and premium, and then your final price. I'm only going to quote the final price, but let me show you what went into this. If I can put a dollar amount to the image and to the things you saw, man, it makes an impact. It makes a huge impact.
It does. Because I know we take a similar approach with our listing appointments for our team. We're not trying to sell a product. We're trying to sell a service. So we can't put an exact dollar amount on there. But when they say like, where's that 3% going? And I mean, we actually took the time and listed out on a big poster board what our job is and what we're going to do for you.
Yeah.
And when people see it, they're like, oh, I didn't know you guys did all that.
Yeah.
No,
Right.
it's like there's so much into it.
Right.
So you have given so much, with your time for doing this with us, and a lot of knowledge, a lot of value here. What can realtors do to support you and provide value to you?
Come to my office.
Yeah.
Come to my office. I'll position this in a question back to you.
Sure.
Do you think with all the information you took away the day we met and in this interview that we've had together during this time, would you have gained that information had you not walked in through my front door?
Absolutely not.
Okay, so the only thing I need to ask, and I ask this of buyers and realtors, walk through my door.
I love it.
It's the answer I give to my CMAs, to my bosses when they ask me, where did we miss our numbers? I said, if you get them through the door, they buy. Our statistic, our conversion rate is if someone goes through the qualifying process, meaning I did my part. I closed the buyer. I got the yes and the decision. They applied with my lender. It's 100% buy rate. Now, traffic, if they make it to the door, our conversion's about 60%.
That's insane.
That's insane. All we need is more through the door.
Yeah.
That's a year. I'm giving you a little bit more than a year worth of data here.
Right.
We opened August of 2024. It's November. We're creeping up on Thanksgiving of 2025. That's the data. And of those closed sales, of every roof out there that's closing with buyers moved in, 60% are self-generated traffic, which was from me and my partner, where we held realtor events here, networking events, breakfast, luncheons, teaching classes, marketing programs, how to market yourself on social media, events here in the community like pumpkin patches and all that stuff, all that good stuff.
I was wondering what you guys are doing out here.
Yeah, that's what all these things came from that, right?
Yeah.
That's where it came from. 20%? 20% came from open houses on the weekends.
Wow.
So 20% came from open houses and people saw the flags and felt, okay, I'm going to avoid the salesperson. I'm going to go see that open house.
Right.
The realtor gets them and then brings them back to us and then we did the deal.
Open houses still work, people.
Still work. They still work. We have the proof. We have the data.
Yeah.
And then the last 20% was signage traffic, let's call it, like brand recognition traffic. And I say that because, yes, we're a top 5 builder in Texas. We're a top 10 in the nation. But top 10, you've got 9 others that you're competing with, right? And so they may have gone through the first 5 and already made their decision.
Right.
That's why I always tell people, please just make it through the door.
Right.
Because you never know. You may think that number 8 or 9 are not worth it. Make it through the door. Make it through the door. Get this information, get this experience, right? Especially in speaking about me, like come meet me. Let's talk. Let's go through that, what have you. I'm based in Paloma, but if it's a completed home, I can sell out in the whole city.
Okay.
So
that's good to know.
I sell Houston, but I office out of Waller, is what I like to say.
I like that you said that because you're one of those people, and I don't meet a lot of people like this very often, where you have such a huge knowledge basis and you provide so much value, where you're one of those people where I'm like, I'm motivated to work with you. How can I give you money?
Yeah.
We have another friend like that in the community. He's really involved in the chamber. And every time I'm around this guy, I'm like, I want to give him money somehow. Yeah. I want whatever service he has. I'm like, let me, how? So I'm glad that you said that.
As I'm comfortable as I am with giving you positive and insightful information about this, I'm also as equally as comfortable when it's difficult conversations. Like the one I had this morning, or like the one that I've had in this community. I'm a new community, things happen. For example, no problem. Buyers, I did a punch list and I need to get this done, but it's not being done. Great, let's go through the avenues. Who have you communicated with? I was texting the builder. Okay, so we're texting the wrong person. Let's get with the right communication methods. Let's go through the portal so that way it's flagged at the corporate office. There's notates, it's recorded, there's data, there's all this information, right? And I said, I know it may seem like I may be deflecting, but I'm not. I'm going you through the avenue because if you trust the process, just like you did with me in the front end, that I said, if you trust my process, I'll have you keys in 21 days. What happened in 21 days? I got my keys. If you follow my process, you'll also get the end result here. So I'm comfortable having those conversations both ways, but it keeps that positivity and that helpful and that insight and that collaboration, adding value. Again, and that's why I said we sell value. I provide value, and hopefully, we get a few deals of as many as we can this year. Next year, I mean, it's got to be a bigger year next year. So I want to double
February
next year.
2026, the frenzy is going to begin.
Yeah.
So if you have anybody that's interested in buying in the next 6 months to a year, tell them to get their debt right. Tell them to get their credit right.
File the taxes.
Tell them to file their taxes. Tell them to get their leases right if they're still leasing. Get ready because if they don't buy between now and February, I'm not going to say we're going to go back to competitive, markets to what we saw in COVID, but it's not going to be as lackadaisical, as it is right now. I mean, if they don't buy between now and February, they're in for some competition, and they better be ready.
Yeah, agree. Yeah, absolutely.
You got anything else for us, Alex? You've given so much, man. I don't even know what to ask you at this point.
Here, let me give you something. I'll give you something. I'm gonna do it so that way I can't say that this ended without me doing it.
Tony Robbins has got some competition out here.
No, I don't. I'm inspired by Tony Robbins.
Yeah,
There's actually
yeah,
a guy named Chad. Man, I can't say his last name. Chad, I'm so sorry if you ever see this clip. Please teach me how to pronounce your last name. I'm gonna
Tag him.
We'll tag him. I'll send you. Chad is the guy that speaks to us here at the corporate level, but he's also like, for me personally, I've got his book.
Sure.
Guy's really big about this. He is like, again, anti-follow-up, get a decision.
Yeah.
Don't get emotional, get a decision. If it's a no, great. You just saved your time.
Yeah,
You're
absolutely.
Instead of spending an hour cold calling 100 people, you now dialed it down and just said, if I didn't get a yes, onward.
Right.
You know, he always says this, we're against the FU bucket,
Yeah.
right?
Okay.
Follow up.
Okay. Got it.
Stop putting people in the FU bucket.
Yeah.
Follow up. Why are you doing this? Because if you didn't close them in person, it's not a reflection of you. Remember, you're not the one making a decision.
Right.
They are.
Right.
This is a reflection of them. It just didn't work. Onward. Right.
I have a case study for that. This year we had we closed on a deal where we could not get them to answer their phone, and they were demoralized that they couldn't buy a house, I guess, even though we never talked about it because they
Right.
wouldn't answer the phone.
Right.
But so they reached out to us and they're like, "Hey, can you show us some rentals?" And I was like, "Absolutely." And in my head, I was like, "You're not renting."
Yeah.
But we could just never have a conversation to
Right.
to understand, you know, what the story was.
Sure.
And we did show them some rentals, and we had the conversation with them on why they couldn't. Turns out it was really easy to overcome. You know, it was actually inaccurate at the reason they thought, and we closed 22 days later.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
That's amazing.
So get with your realtor or get in front of the person.
Yeah,
is
always.
what I'm
That's what I
saying
say.
there. Yeah,
Just if you come through my door, the rest we can resolve. And even if they come through the door and it's a no, great, no problem. But we got through the door and they're leaving with a lot of value.
absolutely.
And I always say this because you can even go to our Google review page, and again, it's no shame because you'll see 5 stars, you'll see some negative comments, but
Everywhere does.
everywhere does, right? If you go to all the 5-star comments that refer to me, Alex, you'll see what they're saying.
Yeah,
And all that says it enough. And you know what I mean? They're the people that wave to me when they see me walking up and down these roads, checking the houses.
Yeah.
They're offering me dinner plates. They're offering me, welcome home, whatever it is,
That's
they're
awesome.
there. So, but the last thing I'll leave with is come visit us. Come visit us at Paloma at Sanford Farms. I'm sure you guys will put it in there or
Yeah,
find
oh,
a
yeah.
way to put it in there. But
they will absolutely find you.
yeah. Come through. I'd love to have you guys over again, and anything you guys need, just let me know.
Awesome. Thank you, Alex. I really
thank you.
appreciate it.
Appreciate it.